guys, this is Blake from Blake's Sanctum, retro site for retro games, bringing to you another episode in my video series of rarely seen Starflight fan remakes and spin-offs and sequels. I'm doing this series as part of a big update to my Starflight gaming website that tributes all the awesome fan projects out there. And this is my video of Starflight III Mysteries of the Universe. Now, for those of you who've been watching this series will know I showed the earlier 2004 navigation demo. Well, this is a much later demo, much later, because the project originally started in the late 90s and had a sort of a DOS version in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then that project fell through and it got a new team ported over to Allegro. And that version ran through the mid-2000s and got fairly complete, but then sadly the key people behind that one left as well. And then a fellow by the name of the username of Stainless came along, who was very good with 3D stuff and basically pushed for the project to, was probably one of the people pushing for the project to be switched to 3D. So he built a new engine using the X&A framework, similar to what he'd used to create his Starflight 1 remake, and using all the sort of tricks and things that he'd learned, and he built this much sort of pretty sort of pretty complete. Like, it's quite complete in how far he got. But of course, sadly, like many of the other previous versions, eventually things didn't work out, and from what I hear, there was disagreements between him and the rest of the team on various creative decisions and things, and he left, and that was the end of it, sadly. And then the project had one more sort of rebirth with a Python version that didn't get all that far after a couple of years, and then that was it, sadly. But what makes this so cool is that no one outside of the team would have seen much of, or certainly not played, this version. But I, thankfully with the help of some very talented folks, have compiled Stainless's final build and got it working, and I'm now hosting it on my website for you guys to muck around with. So shall we get into this tour? And as you can see, he's got some weird alien characters that convert to the game options. Got new game, low game doesn't work, and options doesn't work, and credits doesn't work, but new game does. So let's start a new game. Now here we are in the starbase, and before I get started on things, I should mention that there's actually no music that came into this build, but there is a lot of music in the Starflight 3 project files, so what you can hear playing in the background are ones that I've selected. Like if the song was called Starbase, then I'm playing that now. If the song was called, flying around in space or whatever, then I'll use that for when we're flying around in space, etc, etc. Now, I actually have the source files to nearly all the different builds. I can't get the long lost late 90s, early 2000s one that everyone wants, sadly, but I maybe one day, maybe, you never know. But I do have the 2006-ish Allegro version, which I'm trying to get help from the people back in those days to help get compiled. So if you reckon you want to have a go at it, check my video playlist that you've seen this video in to see if there is a video of the Allegro mid-2000s version, then you know I've conquered this problem. But if there isn't, it means I haven't yet and I need help. So because I'm not a programmer and I'm not good at compiling stuff. If you reckon you can help, then please contact me, or if you were involved in that era. And after the Allegro era came this one, Stainless's came along and worked on this from 2008 to 2010ish, and then there was the Python era, and I've also got the Python files as well, which I'm yet to figure out how to compile either. So if you want to help with any of that stuff, please contact me. But anyway, let's get on with this game. Now, there's not really anything you can do in the starbase, sadly. You can't hire a crew or do anything like that, but you can take off. So let's launch. Stainless has created a nice little takeoff sequence here. those who've come from Stainless's Starflight 1 Remake project video, which in my series, you'll see just all the improvements. He's got textures on things in this one, whereas there weren't really any textures on his 3D objects in the other one. You can see his skills have got better, and he's really done some cool stuff. Although I don't think we're meant to see the ship's shadow in that smoke. That's a bit weird. Ooh, here we are. We're out in the solar system now. For those wondering what on earth all this stuff is, that is a nebula. This system is inside of a nebula. So he's created this cool effect where I'll show you if I start flying around. See how you're sort of pushing your way through it. Think of like the intro to Star Trek Voyager, when you see Voyager pushing through that dust. It's kind of like that. So it's a pretty cool effect. The only problem is, in this demo, in this final version, he must have had an on-off global switch instead of like an on-off per system switch, simply because I've gone into systems outside of the nebula in the galaxy, and it still had this effect running, sadly, so you can't really see all the nice stuff behind it. But nevertheless, you can still make out the details on his beautiful planets. You can see that it's spinning and there's nice details. So let us orbit it. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Those of you who've seen Stainless's Starflight 1 Remake will see that he sort of had the very retro, similar to classic Starflights, just a few pixels, or very simple low-res texture spread across the planet. Whereas this, very nice, very detailed, very round. There's the sun. He may have even, I don't know, like, I'm pretty sure I've not set my system to have any kind of forced anti-aliasing, so I don't know whether he's got something built in, because the edges on everything are very smooth, I'm finding. It's quite impressive, but yeah. So there's, now let's sort of go for the ship systems before I start landing and doing some other cool stuff. Look at that, you can actually see the sun hitting what appears to be the atmosphere. That is awesome, very clever. So what else can we do? We can, well, we're not going to go back to the starport. I don't think cargo works. Can't log planets. I think going to the ship's log crashes the game, sadly, and I'm not going to land just yet. But we can do cool stuff, like we can scan the planet. He loves his Star Trek, Stainless, because his other Starflight 1 Remake was filled with Star Trek style sounds and interface stuff, so there's little bits in this one too. And that's of course ship status, and there's also database. So they've got a few things in there. So you got your what is this? Briefing. Get the game's story. Jeez, it goes for a while, doesn't it? There's a whole discussion going on here. I wish you all the best of luck in your exploration. Races. Ah yes, they were in Starflight 2, weren't they? And of course the Spearman from Starflight 1. Look at that one, that one's a 3D one. Albeit rather simple or strange, I don't know. Maybe at some point they all would have been a nice mix of maybe cool backgrounds with 3D objects, maybe. That would have been the end thing, I don't know. But the Book of Endurium. Religious Writings of Arth. Fascinating. What else? So that was science. Maneuver will take us back into doing other stuff. Do weapons, shields. Can't fight anyone. Star map works though. And as you can see, they'd sort of put in the whole planned Starflight 3 galaxy. Looks sort of similar in size to Starflight 1 and 2, I reckon. In the old Starflight 3 nav demo, you could step into fluxes that took you to other sectors entirely, so I don't know whether that was still planned, because this is like nearly 10 years later, so I don't know whether that was abandoned or not. I'm not even sure if there are fluxes in this galaxy, because as you can see, they're not mapped down on the map. So in flying around, I didn't hit any, but you know that's not proof of any of them not being there. So I don't know. Would have been interesting to try and trigger one, because Stainless loves his fancy effects. So it would have been kind of cool to see what happens when you step into one. But I'm yet to find one. If you have a go at this demo, because of course I'm hosting it, you can download it. Let me know if you find one, and tell me where on earth it is. Alright, what else works? So we know what leave orbit does. And we can look at ship systems. Pretty cool. You can, as I guess some debug stuff, you can damage systems and watch them be repaired. And what else? Interesting that you've got a cloaking device. Can't hail anyone, can't surrender. Got a doctor though. Looks like we can look at our crew members, and look at this. You can scan, and it like sees into his body. It's similar to the cool stuff Stainless was doing in his. Once again, I keep referencing his earlier game, the Starflight Remake, because that had cool scanning beams on crew members and on aliens on planets. You can see their internal organs and stuff. Very clever. I don't know how the hell he did that stuff. Very, very clever. And I think that's it for the ship system. So let's get on with the game. Let's show you some cool stuff. So we'll do that. We'll leave orbit. And I think we'll head over to Ice Giant. And I'll show you guys what it's like to land on a planet. As you can see, the effect is in full swing here. I suppose you could call it a navigational deflector, pushing all the dust out of our way. Look at this, it's like a beautiful green icy world. Nice. Very nice. So we'll activate the landing sequence. And I think I'll pick a watery area, because I want to show you guys the cool water effect. It's a bit buggy, but what he's done is really cool. Check this out. This is awesome. Full landing sequence. Heat shields. Oh no, we're gonna crash. Now I should point out that on my Windows 7 machine it crashed here, and I could not go down onto planet surfaces. I had to switch to a Windows 10 machine to do it. I don't know if that was an OS problem or maybe a machine specific problem, so hopefully other people with Windows 7 won't have the same problem. But anyway, as you can see, there was a weird bug with the way the atmosphere interacts with the water, but once you get past that and a bit close to the water, how good does that look? Like, I love the way the sun reflects off the water. Like, you know what it reminds me of? Stargate SG-1. Reminds me of the Stargate, doesn't it? It totally looks like that. But now I don't think you can land on water planets, because I was trying earlier and it didn't go very well. Because normally you get these lovely little landing guide things once you get close to the ground, and they're not appearing. Yeah, no, they should have appeared by now, surely. So I think I'll increase speed again, and we'll head up, and I'll pick a higher ground location next time around. Perhaps I'll do a different planet for that. Oh yeah, now watch this transition, guys. This is so beautiful. As you head back into the stars, watch how the atmosphere will start to thin out in a sec, and the stars will appear. Very clever. For an old fan game, that's for sure. Obviously these days we've got things like No Man's Sky and Star Citizen, so everyone's like, you know, what's the big deal? But, you know, I guess as a retro gamer and a big fan of fan projects, I really appreciate, I think, little details like this in a fan game. I think it's very clever. So, let's head out of this solar system. I'm going to show you guys what it's like to leave, because Stainless put in these awesome effects in his Starflight 1 remake every time he entered hyperspace or left hyperspace. Whoa! Very nice. Now, we're in a nebula, so we'll just get out of that, and we'll go find a nearby system. It's a bit hard navigating because I found that where you are on the map doesn't seem to be, you move left, what you think is left, but then you check the map and you've moved right. See? I've moved right, and that was not where we were before. So it's something's wrong with the navigation system. It's like upside down or something. But anyway, I'll just keep going until I hit something because it won't take long. Some weird nebula something effects there. But look at this, isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love that. Whoa, I'm going too fast. Slow down. Slow down. There we go. That, it's funnily enough, these days, when you think of, was it Interstellar or whatever, films like that where they've sort of shown, like research has shown that like the bubble effect is actually a more accurate depiction of a wormhole compared to, if you look at wormholes in sci-fi in the 90s and stuff, it was more of a funnel. Whereas these days scientists reckon it'll look more like a bubble. So, funnily enough, stainless was ahead of the game. Isn't that a nice looking purpley ice planet? But I'm legging it for this blue one because this looks cool. I remember the blue ones were Earth-like planets in my test game. Oh yes, look at this. Very nice. Very nice. So how about we do our little landing test here, eh? Oh, I love it how you see the sun hitting the atmosphere like that. Oh, and the way it slowly moves around like that. Oh, gorgeous. Must have taken him bloody ages to configure all that. Very nice. I mean, maybe if he'd kept at it, there would have been further improvements, like the water to sand would have looked a little bit less sort of, jagged and separate like that. There would have been better blending. And maybe, you'd hope that at some point the clouds would have been a separate layer that moved around. Because, professional games had already been doing that since the early 2000s, so, it would have been cool to have that at some point, but... Or maybe this really would have been it, I don't know, but it's impressive, that's for sure. But I think in the long run people might have wanted a bit more. So we'll see what them Skinners pick up. Analysis. Water. So gravity's a bit full on. Nitrogen, oxygen. Weather very violent. Yeah, I can see that. Look at that storm. Goes over half the planet. Tropical to searing. Alright, so let's pick overland. Give that a shot. Ooh, here we go. Heading into an Earth-like world. Fortunately not where the storm is. Although I don't think I haven't hit a storm yet when I've landed, so I don't think he's implemented that mechanic if he was planning on, because I'm not sure if there were storms in the PC and Amiga versions of Starflight, but there sure as hell were in the Genesis Mega Drive version. You could get hit by tornadoes and all kinds of stuff. Ooh, so here we are on a grassy area, bit hilly as well. Now, I should warn you guys that once you land, sadly, you can't seem to do anything. He hadn't put in the lander controls, you can't get back on board your ship and take off. So it's actually a game ender. But that's alright, I'll simply just restart the demo in the video after we land, because I really want to show you what it looks like. It's pretty cool when you land. So these are the guiding things I was telling you about before. So just got to slow down and get low enough without crashing before you hit that land button. Because if you hit the land button too prematurely, you'll nosedive. Yep. Nailed it. There we go. I'm so glad I didn't crash on my first attempt. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's meant to be the sun in the distance, because it's weird, like it's all eclipsed. So maybe it's just a giant moon or something, I don't know. It seems to always be there on every planet I land on. And look at this, so I've actually got out of the ship, so I'm presumably either on foot or in the terrain vehicle, but I have not been able to figure out how to move around. I can't figure it out, so I'm going to have to reset the demo, because there's no way to quit or do anything, sadly. I've tried every key, every menu option, nothing happens, sadly. So here we go, I've restarted the demo, we're back out in space, so let's show you some more planets. There's this one up here is an interesting one. It's like another icy world, and I think it's got some cool icy mountains and stuff. It's which one of reminds me of either one of Jupiter's moons or Saturn? Is it Callisto? Ganymede? Oh, I don't know. Well, the one with the big the ice world with the cracks and all the geysers. That makes me think of that one. Go for a mountainous area. Because when I did a test run, yeah, there was some really cool sort of ice mountains and stuff. In we go. Oh dear, it's night time. That means I can't really show. Oh god, can't really show you what I wanted to show you. But god, when you're moving quickly through mountains at night, that's terrifying. But look at this, guys. We got night vision, baby. It was quite nifty of him to implement that. So now we can see where we're going. Although I think attempting a landing is going to be difficult. It is very hilly around here. If I turn a bit. Something flatter over here. I'm just sort of watching the mini-map. No, it's looking a bit bad in every direction we go in. I mean, for the hell of it, I can try and land on one of these hills. It might be pretty entertaining for you guys. Oh no. Oh no, we're nose diving. Abort, abort. Oh god! Fuck! Shit! Oh my god, we're not dead, but we're damaged. Oh, it's too hilly around here. Oh, no, we're nose diving again. It's just, yeah, not working. I think we'll just head out, and I'll go find another part of the planet. At least I got to show you what it's like to fly around at night and use the night vision and stuff. That was a cool transition, wasn't it, as well? You could still see a bit of atmosphere clearing, even though it was night time. I think the good old Greenie, the one we started on, that one has some good ice mountains. So we'll just head back there, and then I think that'll be it for this demo. We'll head back to Space Stock, and I'll show you that. Cool sequence. Here we go. Oh, I keep going to the wrong menus. I swear these fan demos have different things in different places to the original. I get very confused. Is it me or is it cloudier than last time? Very cool. There we go. Snowy, icy mountains. That's what I was looking for before. And they look a bit flatter as well, so we should be able to find a landing spot. Getting better. Just a little bit lower. We'll see what the landing guides tell us. If they're flying around all over the place, then we know it's bad. No, I reckon that's doable. This is a flat bit. Right here. Yeah! There we go. Beautiful. There you go. See, there's that purple thing again. So I don't know if it's the moon or the sun, but looks cool. Disembark. Oh, I just noticed there's a big laser turret on the bottom as well as the top. Cool. Well, once again, of course, I've jammed the game, so I'm going to have to restart it. There we go. I've restarted the game, gone back to where we were. You can see some more terrain details on this side of the planet. Some big cracks, like what I was talking about before as well. So, now we'll head back and I'll show you the Starbase, returning to Starbase sequence, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's a shame that this demo, you know, he didn't go any further. Oh yeah, as I overshot the planet, I just remembered that I haven't shown you guys a sun. Look at that, pretty cool, isn't it? Looks like it's sort of like 3 different textures moving around. Some transparent ones creating like a sort of a liquidy magma burning effect for the sun. Very cool. Anyway, we'll back to the planet. But yeah, it's a shame it was never finished, and that things didn't work out, and there were disagreements between Stainless and some of the other team members. I think he was unhappy with the lack of design documents and story changes and critiques of his work, and I think he just got fed up and took off and left, and the team was sort of was stuck sort of having to rebuild in a different engine, and so it was a shame, because you know there's a lot of work here. It was coming along, but personally, of course, my heart is still in the 2D versions, but I still very much appreciate the impressive work done with this, that's for sure. So yeah, if you're watching this, Stainless, thank you for that work, and I hope you like my tribute on my website and here. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more Starflight 3 stuff coming up soon. Bye!